Hello, everybody. It's Felt Buzz. I am going to do an author reading for you guys. This is the first 7 parts of the freewrite series that I'm doing at the moment. And let's start with part 1, Intensity. As I stepped into the wormhole, I felt my body being ripped apart, atom by atom. It strangely wasn't as unpleasant as it sounds. Suddenly, I could see the universe as it was, with an intensity I'd never thought possible. Disconnected from myself as I was now, I'd never felt more connected to the universe. I'd never felt more alive, even though technically I was not. The intensity of the experience made my trip feel as though it had taken years, although in reality my journey was instantaneous, and I stepped through the wormhole exit a milli-moment later and collapsed onto the floor. Hands grabbed me, pulled me to them, and I felt the warmth of the others. "You'll be all right," I heard Chip say. His rough voice had a softness to it now. Graver had said that the journey would change us, that the pulling apart and reassembly of our atoms would make us different from before. "More whole," he had said. "You'll never be the same again." Part 2. Portal. Marie handed me a cup of water and I drank from it, drowning all of the precious liquid. Chip laughed. "Thirsty work, ain't it, boy?" I nodded. My vision had cleared now. I could see the others. Marie looked concerned. Chip looked like he always did, like a big rock. France. Where the fuck was France? I stood up and looked around me, back at the shimmering portal. "Where's France?" I said. Chip looked away, his face cloudy, troubled. Marie looked like she was going to cry. "Where the fuck is she?" I yelled. "She didn't make it," Chip said. "What the fuck do you mean?" I choked on the words. Marie put her arms around me. "Graver warned us the journey through the porthole was not always straightforward," she said. "But she's okay. She just didn't come through. Right?" Marie shook her head. She was deconstructed, lost in the wormhole. Part 3. Resurrect. I shook myself free from Marie's comforting hug, ignoring the hurt on her face. "But there must be something we can do. We can't leave her out there. Wherever that is. Deconstructed." Chip shook his head. "We all knew the risk, man," he said, his huge hands held up in what I assumed was some kind of calming gesture. "France knew them as well as we did." I swallowed. I hadn't really appreciated the risks. I hadn't believed in them. Had France? "But there must be something we can do." "This is reality, man, not some kind of crappy story. We can't bring her back, resurrect her like in the Bible and stuff." I began to pace up and down, aware that Chip and Marie were staring at me. "There must be a way." "She isn't France anymore," Marie said. "All her atoms were separated, and they can't be put back together. She's lost to us. We owe it to her to carry on, to complete the thing we came to do." Part 4. Slug. And it was that easy for Marie and Chip, to just forget France and move on. Perhaps I was being unfair. After all, I knew that sitting on the floor crying wasn't going to bring France back, and I knew she would want us to carry on. "We've got a job to do," she'd said before stepping through the porthole. "Let's get on with it." Her last words to the group. Her last words to me. "Come on then," I said, straightening up. "Let's go and find Slug." Chip slapped me on the shoulder, a friendly gesture that almost knocked me back onto my arse. "Good lad," he said. "You'll know that's what she worked for." I nodded, and Marie gave me a quick hug and took my arm, and we both followed Chip out of the room. Outside it was quiet. It was dark here, early morning or late at night, I wasn't sure. Chip seemed to know where he was going. He didn't even consult the device he held loosely in his dinner plate hand. Part 5. Shade. They came out of the shadows almost as soon as we left the building. No, they were the shadows. Before Chip could raise his device, a shade touched him and he shivered, crumpled, and the life force fled from his broken body. Marie and I faced them, back to back. We'd been trained for this, I tried to remind myself. We can beat them. The shades feared light, and we had light. Marie pulled a lamp from her pocket. I had a device in my hand. The torch function shined at the creatures as they circled us. They flinched when the light touched them, shrieked with pain if we could keep the beam focused on them for more than a few seconds. The shades began to retreat as Marie and I inched forward, our backs still touching, our eyes darting around us, trying to see the darkness, searching for the deadly creatures. Part 6. Filthy Rich. I think they've gone, Marie said. Her head turned, her breath hot on my ear. Let's keep going, but keep watching, they'll be back. I nodded. We inched forward, shining our torches around us. The beam picked out the pile of dust that had once been Chip, and beside him the device he'd been carrying. I bent down and picked it up, slipping it into my pocket, a tear rolling down my face. How had I ever let him talk me into this? I know this guy, he'd said, taking a long slug of the multi-energy drink he favoured after a workout. Clever man. Filthy rich, too. He needs a team to do something for him. I raised an eyebrow. I'd known Chip for years, and he was a solid guy, but the jobs he lined up were usually on the wrong side of legal. I didn't have a problem with that, usually, but I was on someone's watch list. Part 7. In the Box. You're on someone's watch list, Dirk said, looking me in the eye and sipping his pint. I raised an eyebrow. Dirk was working with the government. I never knew exactly what he did. I never asked. It was better that way. Just tread carefully. You've made a few enemies recently. I took a sip of my bitter and nodded. It was true. Lately I've been losing friends and gaining enemies. The problem with my line of work is you tend not to please anyone any of the time. I felt something nudge my knee, under the table. You're getting fresh with me, Dirk, I said. Take the box, he said. I took hold of the small square item. What's in the box, Dirk? I asked, slipping it into my pocket. Don't be so impatient, he said. Just don't use your home computer. He looked me in the eye again. It isn't safe. I nodded, thanking him with a wink. Another pint? Dirk shook his head. I have to go. Okay, so that's the first 7 parts of my story, and I hope you enjoyed them. There are other parts available. I think I'm up to 11 so far in total. So if you enjoyed that, catch up. There'll be links to the other parts on this post. Have a fantastic day, and don't forget, steam on. I love you. Bye.